I would like to welcome Carrie Kirpin, the CEO and co-founder at Likeable Media. Carrie grew her company from a husband and wife consulting firm into an award-winning global agency that works with Fortune 500 clients. She's led the Likeable Media team to generate over $15 million in revenue while being recognized as building New York City's 6th best place to work. And that's according to Crain's. A two-time Inc. 500 winner, Carrie's company was also named one of the top 50 fastest growing women-owned businesses in 2013. That's a lot to live up to. Wow, I better get off the stage. So here's Carrie.
Hi.
Oh.
Here we go. Okay. Do I have a clicker when I go forward, or do I just
right
magically?
Here. Right
oh,
here.
Perfect. Okay. So I figured out the whole 15-minute thing, you guys, that it's only 15 minutes to present. This is normally an hour, and I pared it down. It is only 15 times more than the average attention span of the youth market. So it's perfect. Exactly. We got to go fast. So hi, I'm Carrie Kirpin. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And the title of this, even though normally I'm fairly reserved with my language, but I think for this topic in general, both for the youth market, and just for marketing in general and with social media, shut up and listen is totally appropriate. If we think about in a day what we do behind the scenes, what do we say? What do we say in social media? We've got all these networks. I need content. But how much are we actually focusing on listening to what people have to say? Because in social media, this is an opportunity that simply did not exist before. So I believe very strongly that if we worry a little bit less about what we say and a whole lot more about what the people we want to talk to, our customers, are saying, we can learn a heck of a lot more and make a lot more money. Okay, so if anyone knows who said this quote, let me know and I will give you a prize, because otherwise I'm going to attribute it to myself. I swear someone said it before. But have you ever had this experience? I've had this experience in a meeting all the time. When you're in a meeting, or you're even networking, and you're talking to somebody, right? And you see someone listening, and what you see is this. It's like we don't even listen. We just are waiting to say what we want to say. And really smart, active listening, both in life and particularly in marketing and social media, is exactly the way that we want to go. So when you have this experience the next time, be like, wait, are you listening to me? I want to make sure you're listening, because really most people are never truly listening. They're just thinking, what am I going to say next to sound smart? What am I going to say next to entertain? And brands do this all the time too. We all do this. Okay, so in fact, listening on social media, when you think about listening on social media, the default is this. The default is, okay, I'm going to go on Twitter because that's the open conversation platform. And when I go on Twitter, when people tweet at me, I'm going to respond. And I'm going to use it as customer service. And if somebody tells me they like me, I'll reply then too. And many, many brands are doing this. Now when you think about listening, and if people say, are you listening on social media? You would say, yes, of course I'm listening on social media. I'm on Twitter and I respond and I have a customer service platform. And many people are doing this very well. So Taco Bell, for instance, I believe Chris before was talking about from Yum Brands. When they respond exactly in the voice of the consumer that they're talking to. Or we've done some stuff for Chill Zone, which is a slushy from Cumberland Farms that kids die for. They'll tweet at us and they'll be like, yo, I'm totally injecting Chill Zone through my veins right now. And like, you can't literally do that, nor would you want to, nor would the brand want you to. But we respond like, baller, that's awesome. You know, like having that type of response, that's a good response in youth marketing, is the ability to respond in their way. But there are many brands that don't do this as well. For instance, for a very long time, and this was a good test, but I do believe they fixed it. You could have really had a fun time. It's if you tweeted American Airlines anything, you are the worst airline in the world. You are total crap. They would respond saying, thanks for reaching out, like a very automated response. You know, this type of listening, there's the good, there's the bad, and then there's the really ugly. If you think about Lululemon, who I happen to love, by the way, and wear their yoga pants all the time. However, when they had the sheer yoga pant incident, do you guys know that? Yeah, yoga pants everywhere, totally showed your bum. It was like a nightmare. And so when that happened, and people were literally tweeting pictures from the gym, look at this bum in front of me, I can't believe it. Tweeting to Lululemon, no response. because they were totally panicked. And so when people think of listening in social media, that's basically what they think of. Okay, I'm on Twitter. The opportunities are much, much more, and you can do this much, much, much better. So I'm going to talk about a couple ways you can do it and some things and some benefits of it today. But I do want to tell you also that if you think about it, I want you to think, the things I want you to take away is think beyond Twitter. A lot of my examples today are from Twitter, but I want you to think beyond Twitter. For instance, if you're looking at Pinterest, and you're looking at what's being updated on Pinterest, if you look at what your brand pins, and then look at what people, your audience, is actually pinning from your website, you'll see that the images are pretty different. What you think your audience wants isn't always what they want. And by simply listening and looking at each of the networks and watching how your consumers behave, you will have so much better content. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that now. So I really want you listening not just for customer service. Customer service is table stakes in social media. 72% of people expect you to respond in social media within 3 hours. It's not just expect you to respond. They expect you to respond within 3 hours. Many expect you to respond within an hour. But I don't want you to just listen for customer service. I want you to listen for learning. Okay? So let's talk about ways we can do this. So listening about your company. So there's the easy here. You know, you're looking, your Wet Seal, right? A youth brand. You're looking at Wet Seal. Really wished at Wet Seal shipped overseas, fashion Wet Seal clothes. When you're listening to this, Wet Seal needs to think about, is this an isolated person? Or is this a real business opportunity? And there are many, many ways to take this type of concept and bring it much broader. What about asking your audience, taking this, seeing if it's out there, if it's just one person, okay? If it's more than one person talking about this, or even look who's talking about Wet Seal, are any of them located internationally? This might be a huge business opportunity, right? Look at the next thing. How long does it usually take for an online order to arrive? Pound Wet Seal. This person is not talking to Wet Seal. If they were just monitoring for customer service, they might never see this. Fortunately, they used a hashtag. So the second level of listening, they search with a hashtag. But if they were just talking about Wet Seal and used it together as one line versus 2 words, sometimes they use 2 words, sometimes they spell it wrong. You really, really need to be actively listening. This, look at this. This is the best opportunity ever. Chris before talked about Arby's. That Arby's experience came from listening, right? And it just so happened that somebody saw that, and he talks about it being fortuitous. This is fortuitous. That didn't actually get a response. All I wanted was fries in the morning, and McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King couldn't deliver. What is that? Well, if you look at examples of this beforehand, this is a prime example. If they were actively, any of them, actively listening, they could have responded and brought that person fries, got a massive, massive amount of press, just as Morton's did. If any of you have ever seen that when they brought Peter Shankman a shake at the airport, a steak, not a shake. I'm thinking of my chocolate shake after this, but it's lunchtime almost. A steak at the airport for him, and generated millions in media impressions. Exactly the same. Opportunity missed from active listening. Aeropostale, so looking at this, when you put out a marketing message, packing a punch with these fun summer backpacks, Aeropostales, these type of bags rip too easily. I hate it. Now here's the thing. Is this isolated or is this broader? And are we taking this data and using it? Are we looking at this? Let's say this was an isolated incident. Are we following up with our brand ambassadors? Are we following up with any one of our customers, maybe via email, saying, how do you feel about the quality of this bag? Are we using this? Or are we just replying, sorry, Ariana, sorry you had this experience? Because that is not enough. Customer service and social media is not enough. Jennifer Meyer, mixed feelings about Budweiser's Heroes Welcome. Love what they did, hate that they're selling me, don't film it. These are all things that you can learn about your commercials, about your media, etc. You can listen about your industry. I wish there was a healthy fast food place that was open 24/7. By the way, if you want to learn about your brand today, you want to learn about your industry today, put I wish in front of whatever you're looking at. So if you looked at I wish fast food, you're going to find all kinds of stuff. A healthy fast food place that was open 24/7, very interesting. Might be interesting for the organic market to consume this. When you're putting these keywords and listening regularly, you can learn a lot more. I wish fast food places had cereal so I didn't have to go home. Well, maybe a fast food place isn't going to introduce cereal, but it's very interesting that you can look out there and see what people are responding to and talking about. Listening to your customers. This is custom audiences from Facebook. When you're looking at custom audiences from Facebook, it allows you to match up your email database with the people who are on Facebook. So you're going to know exactly how many of your customers are there. Consider a closed focus group. You know your customers are there. You know they're on Facebook. If you create a closed group with some of your customers, if you do an ad spend to drive to a closed group, you could have an entire focus group that you could use all the time. And by the way, you could also, in listening to them, then give them content that they could share out socially. The opportunities are vast. When you are actively listening, you can do all different kinds of things. When you look at Wheat Thins, you can see that they did a commercial where they showed up at people's houses, and they went and they said, oh, here, you win a prize. Well, a lot of people questioned this. When they questioned it on Twitter, they actually used those people to go up to them to show it was real, so that they then spread the word. You have an opportunity through listening to really prove your impact. Similarly, Entenmann's, they had a product that they were unhappy with, that they took off the shelves, it wasn't selling. Well, guess what? The internet revolted. They wanted the banana crumb cake back. They said it over and over and over again. Entenmann said, well, I tell you what, if enough of you say to bring this back, we'll bring it back. Over 1,000 people they needed. They got those 1,000 people and then some. They brought it back. It's in distribution today. It's an amazing product. That's one of their top sellers today that they had taken off because they thought that it wasn't working. In fact, what they needed to do was shift where and how they distributed it. Anyone know what this is? Quickster. Okay, so Netflix was going to launch Quickster and Netflix, split between two different groups. One was going to be the mail-in, one was going to be the streaming for DVDs. The internet revolted. They made the change quickly. That was done all through listening. And of course, you know you can prevent these crises from happening. If you look at even self-imposed crises, when somebody tweets something inappropriate or anything like that, if you're listening, you can respond quickly. The results of listening, these are just some stats for you guys. Customers who engage with a brand online report spending 20 to 40% more on that brand. When you're listening, you're more able to respond to them. When you're able to respond to them, they're going to start an engagement with you. It's very simple. 70% of Americans are willing to spend an average of 13% more with companies who feel they provide above par customer service. They expect you to be providing above par customer service. And if you look at IBM had a program, again, not the youth market, but a critical program called Listening for Leads, where all they did was listen. All they did was scale the internet and listen for appropriate leads. Then they acted. Just their Listening for Leads program attributed millions. Now it's my turn to listen to you. Any questions that you have for me about listening, how to listen, anything you want to know on different networks, et cetera? Yes?
I'm hearing you talk about specific companies listen to an audience talk about their company.
Yes.
But what if no one's talking about my company? What strategy is going to have to listen to the market in general?
Brilliant. If you're a small business, nobody's talking about your company really, right? You have to be at scale. It's pretty easy to listen if you're Taco Bell, right? Because people are talking about Taco Bell all the time. However, what I want you to do is listen about your industry or your service that you provide. I want a much broader based listening. I want to know what people are pinning about accounting. I want to know what people are pinning about toys. You know, something broader that you can look at that you can then gain insights. The thing about social media that you have to remember is it's very data rich. There's so much data out there. It's just insight poor. We're not taking the time to pull that in and look at it and create insights because of it. It definitely doesn't have to be about your company. It could be about anything. When you're looking at that I wish trick, go with anything within your industry, within a product like yours, competitors, larger companies that you think have a similar product to yours, because you can gain those insights pretty easily.
Carrie, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Bye, guys. You can tweet me at Carrie Kerpen.
She will